Hello there and welcome back to Starship Wonders. I'm Shannon and today we're going to be doing part 2 of the Eagle 5 build from Spaceballs, and I'll show you what we got here going on. Now, as you can see, I've already tore out some of the resin and stuff, and anytime you're working with a resin model and you're gonna have to drill anything out or carve anything out, always use like a mask. This produces a real fine powder and stuff, so you want to have some kind of respiratory protection. You don't want to breathe in all this crap or whatnot. But what we'll be doing is this is just kind of a channel for the wiring and such. Show you a little bit. I'm going to use some LED tape, and that'll be lighting up these back windows here. So go in there, same way with the front windows here. The LED tape on the one side will be lighting those up, and then I've already got the LEDs in with the lights, or sorry, I have the LEDs in with the pieces, so they'll light up these pieces. Same way here, I've got the LED already in the piece, so I can just glue it in and get it ready for paint. Same way on this side, and then you can see we have the LEDs for the front headlights here. We've got the LEDs for the back, be the back tail lights. So all this will be lit up. So when we get back here, I'm going to have this all glued together. We'll start wiring it, and we'll see what it looks like with the lights on and what we need to light block and what we don't. We'll go over all that in just a minute. So that's where we're at now. Oh, and this hole here is where we've got our base, which you probably can't see, but it'll light up. It'll say Spaceballs Eagle 5, and then have it to where we'll get it off this part here. Have it sit something like that. So when we get back, we'll have this all get this off here. When we get back, we'll have this all glued together, and we'll show you what it looks like lit up without painting it yet, so you see what you'll need, because you'll do this a little differently than you do other models, because you're going to light block it on the outside instead of, on your typical model, you can light block it on the inside. So you kind of got to think a little bit in reverse on these. What we'll be using is a product. I've got this stuff here, but any kind of it's a liquid mask. This is what I'll be using. It works really good. Basically, you paint it on. You paint it on to where, like, I don't paint this on to where the lights will be at and stuff like that. But we'll get to that here shortly. So let me get this put together, and we'll get this lit up, and you guys will see what it'll be running off of. Also, I'll be running this off of a 9-volt system. That'll be all it'll take to run this whole lighting setup. So when we come back, we'll show you what this looks like all lit up. So stick around. Alright, I've got this all glued and got the lights in it and stuff, and we'll show you what this looks like. So here we go. We got the wings glued on, the engines. We've got the wiring glued in, the lights all glued in. Some of the parts I don't, because we're going to paint it and stuff, but the wheels will go, put it on the right way, wheels will go on there like that, so it'll hide the hole there. Same way with this hole up front, that'll all be, can't quite get it in there, that'll all be hidden in there as well. So, but we'll show you what this looks like. Like I said, it's on a 9-volt system. I just kind of got this wired up this way, but as you see, we've got light coming through the front on the headlights, on the marker lights. It'll be back here on the marker lights, tail lights, and all the engines. And then all I gotta do is fill up these holes with, I'm going to use just some regular Bondo glazing putty. Fill in all this, just here where the lights are at, put a little there, and fill in any other spots I've got on this, which this, unfortunately, like I said before, this model had a lot of bad spots in it. There's some back here that have got to be worked. I've got to probably completely redo this tail light. I thought about maybe sanding them off and doing some kind of making another brake light using some of this micro clear. We'll just have to see how some of these turns out. It had a hole in here where it got weak, and that was my fault, so I'll have to fix that up. But when you're dealing with a resin model, this sometimes happens. You don't know exactly where you might be drilling through. Even if you're trying to be as careful as possible, accidents do happen. But there isn't too much that I can't fix on this. So let me get this all puttied up, and I'll show you what this looks like, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so like I said, I'm going to put the putty on there, putty the model all up, show you guys what it looks like, and then we'll talk next about how we're going to paint it, some of the decals, and some of the kind of, because this model, you looked at it in the movie, it would look real dirty, and had grunge and grime on it. So we're going to do some painting techniques and using pastels and stuff like that to give it a little grime, things like that. So let me get this bonded up, and I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, I've got the Bondo down on it. I've filled it in. As you can see here, I filled all this top part in. I put hot glue underneath, and that way I didn't have to put so much Bondo to kind of build that up. I've sanded it off, filled in some of my other little cracks and seams, things of that nature. I'll be mounting the rest of the little parts after I get the rest of it painted and stuff. I think what I'm going to do with these running lights, I'm going to maybe sand them down just a little bit and drill holes through it, maybe I don't know, 2 holes maybe in each one. Try to bring out a little more light. Maybe do the same thing with the tail lights, sand those down a little bit so they're not so, I don't know if you can see that, but they sit out, all the lights sit out a lot, and they don't actually do that on the studio model version. So might sand those down just a hair, just a little bit, so they're not protruding as much. But that's pretty much it for this one. I'll be like I said, I'll be putting the masking stuff on like I talked about earlier. I'll mask off all the lights and everywhere I want light to shine through, and then I'll paint the whole thing black. That way it doesn't let any light through anywhere I don't want it. But it's coming along. Like I said, this model, some of the pieces needed a lot of work and they're kind of off, but for what it is, it's still pretty neat. So that's what we got. So the next time we come back in part 3, we'll be painting it. I'll get the black coat on it, basically the light coat off of it. We'll be painting its primary colors and going into some of the details in the painting and whatnot. But until next time, always have fun and keep modeling. We'll see you again.